Hello! It is Friday the 13th, a magical day. The last Friday the 13th of the year. I don't know if there was another one in the year, but we're nearing the end of 2024, and with that comes so much that can, in the Gregorian calendar, come up for us in what we have created for ourselves this year. It's a time of celebration, a time of reflection, a time of closure in so many ways. And I felt so called to come in here with you inside of Conscious Leaders Rising in our free membership space to speak on something that feels so alive for me right now and share with you from my heart the transmission that is coming through around system expansion, because we've been taught based off of our parents, our moms, our dads, our teachers at different points in our lives that to grow, to evolve, to expand, it comes with the kind of sacrifice or the kind of abandonment or depletion or neglect or taking away from yourself, exploiting yourself, extracting from yourself, right, in order to get the XYZ, to land in the income level you want, to attract in the dreams that you want, to be going to the kinds of places that you want, to be having the kinds of relationships that you want, and all of these different ways that we're taught to take ourselves out of ourselves or to source power from outside of ourselves are actually what is in the way of us realizing your own power to expand and overflow. And one of the analogies that I use a lot in this work, in expansion work, is with nature, because regenerative somatics is we work with nature, we work with our own nature, we work with Mother Nature. And wild overflow has been like massively expanding in my world, and it has inspired me to create 2 new spaces that are really holding this energy of wild overflow. And the energetics of wild overflow, like I use waterfalls a lot. It's a very big way that I feel and connect and channel this energy. And you can think of water that is flowing from, it's like a big gush of a waterfall. It's just like massive waterfall that's just like so big. And then as it starts to go into lower terrains, it gets smaller, it becomes a river. And at some point in that river where the water is freely flowing, it is going down and it feels so like expansive, it feels open, it feels good, it feels juicy, it feels rich. There's some kind of clog that will stop that flow. Those clogs are the clogs in the system that resist the natural waterfall, the natural wild overflow that wants to come through and to continue nourishing and supporting all of the movement of energy. So when you think about money in this way, this transmission is around money in wild overflow. When your own body has different clogs that are inside of your nervous system, it makes it so that there's an upper limit that feels like it is pushing the edge of what feels safe and what feels available for you to be able to receive, to steward, and to hold wild overflow. And these different clogs, you can think of them for this analogy as like logs. Like imagine there's a bunch of logs that are in the middle of this river, of this stream. And because those logs are clogging the system. They're clogging the natural flow of energy, but because they also feel so cozy because it's normal for you, it's what you've known. You can think of these clogs as the ancestral money wounds, right? The wounds that say that to receive a wild overflow of money, you have to keep pressuring yourself, you have to keep overworking, you have to keep stressing yourself out, you have to keep overthinking or over-strategizing or doubting or putting so much more on your plate than you can actually manage, or not allow yourself to receive an overflow of support. Like all of these different ways that ancestral and systemic coding, they have been in your nervous system because it's what you were taught, it's all you've known, and they have stayed there. And so that flow, the overflow, it's here. It never stopped being here. It's always been here. But there's been resistance to letting it through. There's been resistance to letting it in, resistance to letting it flow because of those codings, those ancestral, those systemic money wounds that clog the system. What happens when you get to the root of the problem, and this is a very big distinction, this is different from the over-strategizing, this is different from the, like how can I create more systems, or how can I make this launch the XYZ, or how can I, right, like those kinds of ways of thinking. You can think of this log and it's like, okay, I can sit there and I can put like all of these different tools on top of this log. I can put all of these different methods, all of these different approaches to the log. And maybe it weakens the log's grip, and so more water trickles in, more money flows in, but the log is still there because you haven't actually gotten to the root cause of what is underneath the surface, right? So through regenerative somatics work, through this nervous system liberation work, what we're doing is we're actually lifting and clearing and releasing the log from your body, because this shit is not conscious. We are not even aware that the log is there. And you might actually be very aware that the log is there, and you're like, oh, here I am, I'm back at the log again, like I've been here before, I know what this is, I know what this looks like, so I know what this feels like, I've hit my upper limit, right? And this is for, my clients that are at 20K months and they've stayed there, who are at 30K months and they've stayed there, 40K months and they've stayed there, and then who, when you get to the root of the cause, so you can still be growing with the log there, the money can still be coming in, right? You can even be quantum leaping with the log there. There can even be an overflow that still can come through with the log there, but the log is still causing the deeper resistance that's happening from it being freely flowing, meaning that it's full of fun, it's full of pleasure, it's full of openness, it's full of joy, it's full of ease, because there's not something that's under the surface, that's deep down, that's continuing to block that free, wild overflow. And so when you clear, you alchemize these ancestral wounds, these money wounds, these systemic wounds from the roots of your nervous system, the block is removed, the log is removed. And then the wild overflow comes. And what happens, what I see happen a lot, is the wild overflow comes, but then, because you're not used to, because this is new, uncharted territory, not used to what wild overflow gets to mean and what it gets to look like and what it gets to feel like in your body, all of the old shit, the old programming when the log was there, will get activated, will get triggered, and your body will start to respond in the old ways. It'll go back to those fear patterns, those scarcity patterns, and feel resistant to holding the wild overflow with safety, with ease, with trust. And what the difference is between those who can hold their expansion of wild overflow as they create more space in their system to evolve and to continue expanding in their wild overflow with money, with clients, with impact, with embodied wealth that comes from the inside out, is that every time there is a log that blocks the flow, the ability to shift it and to alchemize it happens so fast, right? And then they actually stop being these huge, big blogs or barriers or constructs or conditioning that is blocking that free flow of wild overflow. They actually become like little logs or sticks or twigs in the system. It's like, oh, there's a clog in the system. I'm seeing that there's a clog in the system. This is what's blocking my ability to receive, to steward, to hold wild overflow, and then we can alchemize those really quick, right? And the difference between the person who thrives in wild overflow is that they are plugged in to the frequencies that are holding wild overflow long enough that their nervous system becomes anchored in that frequency of wild overflow, in that frequency of receiving, stewarding, and holding the highest, juiciest quantum leaps of their life with pleasure, with fulfillment, with satisfaction, with the slowness, right? And the quantum growth that happens becomes a new baseline. It becomes a new normal. The things like having your 40K jump to 90K, having your 50K months jump to 100K months, having your 20K months jump to 60K months. The new baseline is set and it becomes normalized in your nervous system without those clogs in the system continuing to create more barriers that you need to overcome. That doesn't mean the resistance goes away. It means that it becomes a lot less powerful over the wild overflow's continual expansion. And so when you're plugged into that paradigm, you're plugged into that environment that is nurturing the wild overflow for your nervous system, that becomes who you are, who you be, how you lead, how you steward money as a sexy steward of money, and how you liberate your lineage. And so I wanted to bring this in, this transmission around like unclogging your system and removing the deeply rooted parts of resistance, the logs that are living in the body, so that your body can actually feel safe and free enough to be able to open itself, to let the wild overflow that's already here actually get to occur for you. And I have two very beautiful invitations for you to get to do this with me. These just came through this week. I'm so excited. So if you are in a place where you know that you just, without a doubt, you know 2025 is the best year, the greatest year of your life, and you want a partner to be able to co-create that and hold you in these wild overflow frequencies as you navigate, as we uproot and clear all of the resistance and the fear and the old conditionings, the old programming, the ancestral wounding that's creating any kind of response in your body that makes you feel like tight or constricted or smaller than your bigness that you're here to really own in your life, and you're ready to leap into your consistent 50K months, your consistent 100K months, or your consistent 4 or 5 figure months in a way that is full of pleasure. So you might already be here, but it feels stressful. It feels like there's a lot of anxiety. It feels like you're checking your bank account and you're wondering when's the next big flow gonna come in, or it feels like you're just depleting yourself to maintain or to stretch yourself. If you're ready to do this in a regenerative paradigm, if you're ready to really let yourself take the fuck off in a way that's life-giving, that energizes you, then the wild overflowing leader is the space for you, and it's going to transform and expand and evolve your entire life and being and relationship to money. If this is you and you're ready for this space, DM me and let's talk. and we can talk about what that space gets to look like for you inside of Wild Overflowing Leader. It's a long-term, one-on-one partnership space. So if you're someone that you're like, yes, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm down, I know that I'm ready for this next level of myself, but I want to take a next step, not quite a next leap. I want to take a next step to be held into these frequencies, to be held in this energy, and do the kind of necessary deep nervous system somatic work in your body to calibrate yourself and your leadership to Wild Overflow in a group container. I have revamped and refreshed Expand to Thrive. It is no longer what it was. It is now a Soma Money Mini Mind. 5 weeks together where you're going to get to receive intimate, personalized coaching from me throughout the whole 5 weeks. There's daily coaching, so you can come in and bring your logs, bring your sticks, bring your blocks, bring the things that you feel like they're in the way or that they've been holding you back, or the ways that resistance hasn't allowed for your money relationship to be as juicy and rich and pleasurable and fun and playful and overflowing as you want it to be. You bring that into our space and you're held in sacred sisterhood, and we have weekly calls where you're also going to get to have private time with me, coaching in the group setting, laser focus deep into your specific unique nervous system, because it's different for every single person. It's not a one size fits all, which is why these spaces are intentionally created to be intimate, personalized spaces. So Expand to Thrive, we are beginning the last week of the last week of December. However, if you join buy early bird, which is insane. Right now it's half off for early bird. It's crazy. And so it's honestly like you get in yesterday. This is just, if I were you, I would have joined this space already. It's an insane value. If you join now before early bird, you're gonna get a bonus call, group call, so we can just dive right on in before we officially start at the end of December. So both of these spaces, Expand to Thrive, Soma Money Mini Mind, that's a ring to it, and the Wild Overflowing Leader are specifically designed for you as a successful visionary, as an ambitious leader, as someone who is deeply devoted and committed to your growth, but wants it to feel a whole different way as you're leaping into your next level of receiving and stewarding and holding wilder flows of money in your work, in your creativity, in your artistry, in your business, to close off 2024 with a bang. Not a bang by overdoing, not a bang by overworking, not a bang by overstressing or pressuring yourself out, or blah, 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 blah. No, with a bang that comes from grounded, centered power and slowness and juiciness and pleasure, but being held by me and by the space through regenerative somatics. So you want this support, right? You're someone, you know how much of an impact being deeply held and deeply supported in your own nervous system will make for you. And so you don't wait, you make the move, you take the chance of letting yourself leap into the unknown, because you know it always gets better when you choose yourself and you invest in yourself, and you want to really wrap up 2024 with as much power as you possibly can reclaim in your body with money and with leadership, and to enter 2025 thriving. We're gonna set you up to enter 2025 thriving. So I'm really excited for these spaces. They are limited space. Both of them are limited space. Expand to Thrive, Soma Money Mini Mind, is not open to the public. It's only open for you, for being here inside of Conscious Leaders Rising, inside of Here We Grow. And once you claim your space, you'll be able to get access to our bonus call. And the really fun part, so Wild Overflowing Leader, this is a brand new program. This just came through me this week, and I was like, oh my God, this feels so fucking good. Like, I'm so excited to work with this woman, and for the women that are called into this particular space, because it is a very specific kind of woman, right? Like, you already know 2025 is going to be, you're going to blow it out of the water. You are in your blow up season right now. You have claimed it, you have owned it, you know, and you want it to feel as fun and as playful and as pleasurable as possible as you're quantum leaping, and to be able to co-create that by rewiring and re-encoding your nervous system so that the old blocks that are so deep down that you probably have to keep reminding yourself or keep remembering, oh yeah, that's the pattern, that's the cycle, it's happening again, I'm doing the thing again. We're clearing that shit so that you're anchored into an entirely new way of operating your life and operating your business and operating your leadership in your work. And so it's a very specific kind of woman, and you know that you're ready if you're feeling the pull into so much more of your bigness, and you're not willing to wait and you're not willing to hold yourself back. And so inside of that space, you are also going to get a VIP weekend with me somewhere in the world. This can be in Bali, this can be in Brazil, this can be in Mexico, this can be in the US. So we will get to co-create your VIP weekend together. My VIP experiences are like next level. Like if someone, this has happened many times with me, from one session has massively expanded their capacity to receive money in just 1 hour. Imagine what happens in a whole weekend together in person. And then a whole 6 months, a whole 12 months of really letting this root into your whole depth of being. So this isn't the overnight, like, fast results and then you plummet back down to your normal baseline of like, oh yeah, I'm back to my normal, you know, what I'm used to, what I feel most comfortable with. No, it's intentionally designed to be a long-term container so that you can recalibrate your nervous system to this higher quality of life, this higher quality of leadership, this higher standard of self-responsibility, and how you're stewarding, receiving wilder and higher cash flow in a way that feels really juicy in your body. It feels really, really pleasureful in your body. So you have the spaciousness, the freedom to go off grid, to take your time, to have naps in the middle of the day, to go on that spontaneous trip, and to have your team holding shit down for you, to spend quality time with your family and your loved ones, to invest more in your creative expression, in your poetry, in your music, in your singing, in your dancing, and all of these things for play, because it feels good, because the money is overflowing into your life and throughout your life in a way that's allowing you to be so fucking supported and held in the wild overflow. So I am so excited for you to join us inside of Expand to Thrive if it feels like that's your next step. And if you're ready for the leap, I'm excited to talk to you about the wild overflowing leader. You can DM me to talk more about that, and I'm going to drop the link for Expand to Thrive right below this. Sending you so much love from Brazil, Floripa, Brazil, where I will be ending 2024, and I'm excited to hear about how y'all are ending the end of 2024 as well.